Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. You just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, dudes. We've got, on our Saturday check-down episode here, a fun little mock draft roundup. At least a couple of very notable mockers who've gone out of their way to do something creative here. So, and speaking of the draft, a reminder, we are just days away from the 2025 Purple Daily Draft Party presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Limited tickets available. scorenorth.com/draft. We are back at the Fillmore next Thursday, April 24th at 7 p.m. There's a pre-party at Brixworth from 3:30 to 5. Vikings legend Chuck Foreman's going to hang out. We will be there enjoying some conversation, maybe a beverage or two. And then, obviously, the show at 7 o'clock. You can wander your way over to the Fillmore. A shout-out to our friends and sponsors, Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, Two Men in a Junk Truck, Roku, and all the other partners that help us put this thing on. And, Jeb, before we get into this mock draft roundup, Neos Elite Performance, co-founded, by the way, by noted former Purple trainer himself, Eric Sugarman.
Absolutely. And if you are an athlete or you're looking to get an edge back in life, the experts at this place, Neos Elite Performance, can help you. Chronic pain slowing you down. Neos has cutting-edge regenerative medicine and cellular IV therapy that's designed to get you going again. And here's the most important part. No invasive procedures. This is white glove service in which they come to your home. So we're not talking about trips to the doctor's office. We are not talking about trips to a hospital. We're talking about the team at Neos coming to you. So if pain is making everyday tasks feel impossible, stop your suffering now. Neos' therapy is designed to reduce that pain, restore function, and get you back to doing what you love. No surgery, no downtime, just results. NeosElite.com, Neos Elite.com. If nothing else, check out the cutting edge things that they are doing to make sure that your pain goes away. It's very impressive and very, very new tech. Neos, Neos Elite.com.
I want a mock.
All right, this first one is from a very notable film grinder, draft analyst, Chad Reuter from NFL.com. He has a 7-round mock posted April 18th with trades.
Chad,
I don't know that he's making all of the trades the teams are going to make on like day 2 and day 3 where it's just like everyone's trading.
Yeah,
but he definitely has some first-round trades here. So let's go through this. And I think we should go through, because we're familiar with a lot of the players just through the Thursday episodes, and see if there's familiar names that he has going to the Vikings. So Cam Ward to the Titans at 1, Travis Hunter to the Browns at 2, Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3, Ashton Ginty to the Patriots at 4. Interesting.
Well, I mean, he brings a lot, man. He brings a lot.
I love that letter he wrote in the Players Tribune.
I know.
Inspired by Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
It's tackle football, so why not draft the guy that they can't tackle?
I know.
Which could easily just be whiteboard material for every team that plays him the first 2 years of his career.
But I do like the confidence.
Sure. The Raiders take Shedeur Sanders with the 6th overall pick. So Geno Smith holding that seat, making it warm for Shedeur. That'll be interesting.
Yep.
Jackson Dart, 9th to the Saints.
Wow.
3 quarterbacks in the top 9 picks.
That feels super forced right there. I'm not going to lie.
It does.
Feels super forced, and I don't know it's necessary.
Yeah. He's got the Colts trading up for Tyler Warren at 13 with the Dolphins. They just swap, and then Jahdae Barron 14 to the Dolphins. After that,
Yep.
Kelvin Banks, the Texas offensive lineman that we actually had fall into our laps on Thursday episode a couple days ago.
Yep.
He goes to the Cardinals at 16. And then Omarion Hampton, the second running back off the board, 20th to the Broncos. Derek Harmon, Oregon defensive tackle, to the Steelers at 21. Colston Loveland, Michigan tight end, to Jim Harbaugh at 22.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
And then, so the Packers trade back from 23 with the Buccaneers, who take Shamar Stewart, the edge rusher from Texas A&M, which puts the Vikings on the clock at 24. At least for a minute.
Oh.
Because now the Bills are on the clock at 24.
We have a trade to announce.
Yes. So the Bills move up for Marshall edge rusher Mike Green.
Okay.
And the Vikings receive 2 fourth-round picks from the Bills. So the Vikings go back from 24 to 30.
Okay.
Or wait a second. Yeah. I thought they moved back again here. Okay, no, they're sitting at 30.
Okay.
And they pick up the extra 2 fourth-round picks. I'm assuming he is accounting for these later once we get to the 4th round. But with the 30th pick
Yes.
in this 7-round mock, the Vikings select South Carolina safety Nick Emanwari. So Emanwari and Harrison Smith would form a nice safety duo for the Vikings. The rookie could play in the box over slot receivers, cover the back end when called upon. So you pick a safety, but you pick up the extra 2 fourth-round picks. You have 6 total picks instead of 4. Your thoughts before we go further here?
Well, first of all, I am so tired of the Theo Jackson doubters. The Theo Jackson doubt has to stop. But I've seen Nick Emanwari mocked to the Vikings a bunch, and if they take him, I guess I have some questions. Like I get it. Harrison Smith probably, we can't say for sure now, going to be in his last season in 2025. So Emanwari could slot in there, but I'm also curious if that would mean that they're going to sign Metellus to an extension, which I still would expect. Mm-hmm. I got to be honest. I'm going to be, for all of the steam that's been built up that they're going to take a safety, because it feels like there are quite a few mock drafts that are prognosticating that. I'm going to be a little surprised if they take a safety first round.
I think I would be too. Also, I think I wouldn't expect like Chad Reuter, who's trying to cover the league at large, even though he is literally doing a deep dive 7-round mock. I don't expect everyone outside of Minnesota to know that they love Theo Jackson from OTAs, you know?
Agreed.
But they did give Theo Jackson more of a starter level contract. So, okay, back on the clock here with the 97th overall pick, where the Vikings select USC cornerback Jalen Smith. So they go safety cornerback here with the first 2 picks. Here's the NFL.com write-up here. 3-year starter with measurables and ball production that could leave teams lukewarm on his NFL prospects. He plays with a narrow back pedal, glitchy transitions, and sluggish closing burst off-man coverage.
So why are you taking him?
But he's much clingier from press man. He might not have the play strength, length, or top-end speed to be reliable on an island outside. The 2024 tape was better, and he does offer some inside-outside flexibility, but he might be fighting for a roster spot throughout his career.
So no. And the other thing, too, is, you're right, okay? Chad Reuter sits down and he looks at who teams pick up in free agency. But the reality is, if you're on the inside, like we are, if you're on the inside, you are going to prioritize, I think, a guard or defensive tackles. And why would I take a slappy cornerback who sounds like the second coming of Andrew Booth?
Oh boy.
Help me out.
I mean, yeah, and also, so his colleague, Lance Zierlein, who does all these write-ups, has Jalen Smith projected as more of a 6th or 7th round pick. So Vikings would be reaching here at the end of the 3rd round.
Why would you don't need to do that. You don't have enough picks to get cute like that.
Okay, we're back on the clock here with the 109 from the trade back.
Calming myself down.
Where the Vikings select out of Georgia, a Georgia Bulldog, Dylan Fairchild, offensive guard. All right, I think Thor ran into him at the combine, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, at the restaurant, right?
Yeah. So he, some of the strengths, according to NFL.com, good size, proportional frame, and adequate length, gets into blocks with quick inside hands, good lateral acceleration on move blocks, passes off twisters with a forceful shove.
Football.
He does have below average core strength and contact balance, struggles to generate movement as a drive blocker, and needs to secure the first block with better pop on those combos.
Football.
Passes off twisters with a forceful shove sounds like lyrics to a song.
We should write some draft songs, I feel like.
That sounds like lyrics to a song.
Okay.
But at least this guy sounds like he can play.
We're back on the clock here again in the fourth round with the 132, where the Vikings select out of Brigham Young University edge rusher Tyler Batty. 6'6", 271 pounds, big dude.
Wow.
And according to NFL.com, he comes forward off the snap to capture the neutral zone, takes on blocks with firm punch and good bend, and hustles hard to scoop up effort tackles away from home base.
Away from home base.
Uses Euro steps to slide wide of the mirror and open up rush doors, but he lacks twitch and quick punch and discard early in the rep. So you got to watch out for that.
He travels. It's BS, that Euro step.
Traveling on number 68. So, so Edge, Tyler Naga.
If I can stop you just for a second, I hate this draft.
It is kind of,
I think I like one pick so far.
2 secondaries. I love the guard in the fourth round.
I do like that, yeah.
I'm okay, but they have so much depth at edge now, too. They have guys that they love even behind the guys that are starting and rotational.
Right.
So, okay, first pick in the fifth round here, according to Chad Reuter, where the Minnesota Vikings select out of Southern Methodist University, running back Brashard Smith. So they get a running back here with their fifth pick in the draft.
The position there makes sense.
According to NFL.com, just writing him down so we don't forget. Fresh legs with only 253 career carries. Very good stop and start quickness when probing. Above average ability to get to the smoothest path on interior runs, and processes second level quickly to spin around or sidestep defenders. However, below average size to take on a heavier workload, runs with a little too much hesitation in his approach, and has a tough time outrunning pursuit to the corner.
Okay, I'm not going to take him then. He wouldn't be my pick, but that's just me.
We're in the fifth round here.
Fifth round, you found Stephon Diggs. You found some players in fifth round. Seventh round, I can hear you.
Well, they don't have a seventh round pick. This is the sixth round pick here, the final pick according to this exercise, where the Vikings select out of Clemson University tight end Jake Brenningstool. Jake Brenningstool. He's a 6'6", 241-pound tight end, senior out of Clemson. And according to NFL.com, he disguises break direction at the top of the route, quick to settle and open into the belly of the zone, and has ball skills to handle tough possession catches. However, he has trouble running away from targeted coverage, prone to focus drops when headed into traffic, and touchdown catches came primarily on misdirection plays that we aren't giving him full credit for.
It seems to me the Zerline negatives have largely outweighed the positives in not all, but most of these write-ups.
There's some other good stuff in here, too. He lands with pop and strains with good tenacity on base blocks.
Do you think he makes this stuff up? Like, just he's like, I'm just going to make up. I'm not even going to watch the film. I'm going to make up these terms.
So, so let me see. What's this guy's name again? Jake Brenningstool. That's his family from London. Hello, I'm Jake Brenningstool.
That's a mouthful. Brenningstool.
And I'm here to catch red zone passes.
Top of the day.
So, yeah, they wind up with, in the 6 picks, they wind up with their first 2 picks are safety cornerback, then the guard from Georgia, the edge from A&M, I can't remember. Or no, was it BYU, right? Yeah, BYU.
BYU, but I don't remember his name.
And then a running back from SMU, and then the tight end from Clemson with those 6 picks.
Great effort. Like, I love the trades. I love the trades in the first round. I love the fact that you go 7 rounds deep. That's a terrible draft. That's an awful draft, which does not at all address how I think the Vikings are thinking.
I want a mock.
Okay, before we get to another notable mock draft here, our little mock draft roundup episode, MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air. That's a first-round draft pick, bona fide.
It's a 1-1. It's a 1-1, and guess what? I've gone from being upset by what I consider to be a terrible mock draft to being enthused and being absolutely on point again. Why? Because the folks at MSP do such good work. You know what? This is all about two things, I think. Quality and trust, right? Quality of work and trust. Because when it comes to plumbing, heating, and air, you need to have people that, first of all, are fast, efficient, and know what they're doing. This is not a DIY situation. MSP does all of those things. How do I know? Because they've been in my house to make several repairs. I'm not just some type of good-looking
Are they
talking
there right
head.
now?
They're not here right now, but I'm just saying, I'm not I know I'm attractive. I know I'm a good-looking guy with great hair. But you know what? This goes deeper than that, because the folks at MSP, I've allowed them in my house, and every time they have delivered with the accuracy of a first-round draft pick. So give them a try. For service, call them 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callmsp.com. Call MSP.com. I'm going to tell you right now, I have been very, very happy.
Would you allow the Canopy Group inside your house?
Well, I didn't hear you tell me about that before the show started, so now I've got to find my copy for
Did I? I thought I did.
I didn't think that you mentioned it. He did?
Yep.
Okay, well, you know what? I'd like to apologize, because this is going to take me a second now, because now I've got to find my Canopy Group script, because there's so much to talk about that's so good, because the Canopy Group, they're taking insurance to a new level. They're doing outstanding work. They are absolutely positively based here in the state. By the way, based here in the state, they're doing fantastic work.
Look at all those papers.
In fact, these are all my scripts. And ladies and gentlemen, I found the Canopy script, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to read it, because I want to tell you the work that they do is great. You know what? It's like a sports executive, constantly on the lookout for the best talent available, right? The Canopy Group does the same for you when it comes to getting the best insurance coverage at the best price. That's important. They work with 16 groups of top-tier independent companies to make sure that you have the best insurance available for auto, home, health, and business. I want you to give them a call, because they are going to make a huge difference when it comes to your insurance roster. 1-800-967-3389, or check out their website, thecanopygroup.com. That's thecanopygroup.com. That was too important to make up on the fly.
What a pro.
I want a mock.
What a pro. He didn't get the play call, but he still delivered a strike on third
I
and 8
must
right
have
there.
missed hey, you know what happened? I went Kirk.
Yeah.
I was gritting my teeth.
The headphones went
I
out
heard
at
a play call.
17 seconds. So, okay, on ESPN.com, Jordan Reed and Matt Miller did kind of a combo mock draft where they have, so like Miller is doing picks that fill a big need, and then Reed is doing a pick that gets the best value.
Okay.
And when you get to the 24th pick here, the pick from Matt Miller that fills a big need is cornerback Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky. He says, after adding Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave on the defensive line, the Vikings should turn their attention to outside cornerback. They need one or two options alongside Byron Murphy Jr. as upgrades from Najee Thompson and Isaiah Rodgers. Timeout. Two things. One, I don't think the Vikings view Isaiah Rodgers as a guy who needs to, you need to upgrade from him. I think they signed him to potentially play a lot of snaps. Just something to note.
Clearly, yeah.
And then, of course, the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line continues to point the needle toward Asante Samuel Jr.
Yes, sir.
So this might not even be a big need by the time all things are said and done. I will give you the NFL.com scouting report, because that seems to be the most interesting thing about these. So Hairston pedals and changes direction with controlled footwork, stays connected through transitions at the top of the route, and does a nice job of digesting route combos from the zone. However, he declares his hips a little prematurely. He's inconsistent in locating the football down the field, will have trouble checking stronger wideouts, and is a massive liability in run support. Wait, why would you draft a player in the first round who's a massive liability in anything, quite frankly?
I don't know. Did you say declares his hips?
Yeah, he declares them a little early.
Been there. Yeah.
That just opens up a can of worms.
And then Jordan Reed has the pick that gets the best value, and he's taking defensive tackle from Ole Miss, Walter Nolan, who we've talked about with Thor quite a bit.
There we go.
Nolan could be an immediate game changer in the middle of the Vikings defense. He has the explosive power to get into the backfield with ease. I have him ranked as the 12th overall prospect. NFL.com says impressive playmaking production as an interior defender, twitchy off the snap and into blockers with good pop, power to punch and shove defenders aside to take over the gap, and can absorb double teams or play across the blocker's face and into the backfield. However, Walter Nolan has below average extension and control at the point, needs to play with consistent inside hands to stay clean, and looks to disengage from blocks too quickly at times. So you got to work on those things.
Well, those things can be fixed, though.
Yeah, it doesn't say he's a massive liability at something.
Right. Like, he doesn't suck at something. He just needs to improve in certain things.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're drafting a player in the first round and you deem that that team's going to run the ball on like 40% of snaps, and he is terrible at that, I probably wouldn't lean that direction.
He does not move. If it's a run play, he just stands there. He won't even participate. He won't even participate in stopping the run.
So those are the latest interesting mocks here going into this weekend. With just a few days to go until the National Football League draft. We are super excited for Thursday. Would love to see as many of you as possible at the pre-party at Brixworth, 3:30 to 5, and then the actual draft party at the Fillmore, where limited tickets are available at scorenorth.com/draft. All right, guys. That's a wrap on this check-down episode. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before Judd finds his scripts.
I got my scripts. All right here.